This is game over, you can feel the ground rumble. When I hit the ground running, you should move a lane over. Rain holder, we don't run on the same motor. I'm a chain smoker, you a lighter to a flamethrower. I come from an insane culture, living like a trained soldier, just to make it a day older. No closure, remain closer to the days when I could feel the hunger pains I knew I would take. I knew this, and I ain't going out till I take it. What I came to get, I was made for this, and I will never lose, I'm the greatest. Just face it, I was made for this, and I ain't going out till I take it. What I came to get, I was made for this, and I ain't going out. I was made for this, and I will never lose. I was made for this. I feel colossal, choir sing the gospel. I can make the sky move, breathing through my nostrils. Sharks in the water, looking for imposters. You ain't in the bloodline, Prince in the popper. Stand between my digits, then you better be a comma. Leave you in the coma, you don't want no problems. Destiny designed us, made us for the finest. Born to be legend, long live your highness. I was made for this. I was made for this. I was made for this, and I ain't going out till I take it. What I came to get, I was made for this, and I will never lose, I'm the greatest. Just face it, I was made for this, and I ain't going out till I take it. What I came to get, I was made for this, and I ain't going out. I was made for this, and I will never lose. I was made for this.
Once upon a time, we had it all, sitting safe behind our castle walls. Fast forward to the siren in the distance, getting closer by the minute. Will you stand and answer to the call? Burn like a fire, willful and wild. This is the night that you were made for. Don't close your eyes, safer to stare into the sun than to turn away from what you could become. This was once a perfect symphony, soft and steady like a heartbeat. But these notes turn dissonant and sour, getting violently devoured. So will you stand or let the curtain fall? Burn like a fire, willful and wild.
사실 저는 어떤 선수를 막 견제한다기보다는 생각한다기보다는 그냥 자기 마음 추스리는 게 가장 경기에 도움 잘 되는 것 같아서 그냥 제가 어떤 플레이를 할지를 생각하면서 게임할 것 같아요. 사실 저희 팀한테 기대를 하시겠죠, 많은 팀들이. 많은 분들이. 좀 재미있는 팀이잖아요, 사실 저희 팀은. 기대 너무 많이 하시면 실망할 수도 있으니까 그래도 좀 가볍게 지켜봐 주시면 좋을 것 같아요.
I absolutely love that quote from the Shy. It's like, it's not about how you're thinking about your opponent, it's about how you think about yourself and how you do things in the game. I feel like I butchered that quote pretty horrendously, but that's the gist of it.
You know what I loved when he pointed out, yeah, when people have too high of expectations on us, we tend to disappoint because that's always said, right? They have like the negative expectation buff. If no one believes, there they go.
Hey, and guess what? Game number 3, nobody believed, and it's about time that we bring back the 1v9-ometer, because the Shy is a 10 out of 10, ladies and gentlemen. The Vladimir comes out when his back's against the ropes, and he just turns everything on his head.
And, you know, the other members had some pretty interesting moments, good early games, but that one Baron fight where he comes in, finds that amazing ultimate, brings IG back into the game, and I mean, from then on, he was a monster.
It's just ridiculous, honestly. I don't understand. This man is an enigma. Let's take a look, because this is the fight that you're talking about, Larry.
I also like that Puff walks in because it actually drew the members of LGD in, and then they all go onto the Shy, leading to this moment. Nice ease coming out, getting that passive built up, getting a nice Q, and then bam! The other IG members arrive in time to clean up.
And easy peasy cleanup for Puff, and then throughout the rest of the game, it was already too late. The Shy was already too strong, and we all know what happens when you give the Shy Vladimir. It doesn't even have to be meta, apparently.
And it was even starting off this clip, which we didn't see, was even his Proto Belt 4 to dodge out on the initial CC coming in, but as you said, it doesn't matter if it's meta or not. It fit the comp well, it can farm and win lane against Ornn, and the Shy, just like last year's regional final, though that time it was in Game 5, this time their backs are against the wall, and he will always lean on this pick.
And it does mean that we have another game on our hands here. LGD now 2-1 up. But I'm just going to take a moment here and just look in awe of the Shy. Like, the thing about Vladimir is when you get this strong in the late stages of the game, there's just no counterplay. What do you do to shut this down?
You throw in an Infernal Soul as well, and it only gets even more dire. And I like the way IG was playing out these later fights here where they realized, hey, we don't really need to commit to the Elder as long as we can take the fight. We're strong enough anyway. Let's not bring it to a 50-50. But there he is on your screens, our MVP of the game.
Look at the damage to gold conversion. 231%. If that isn't value, I don't know what is. That is unbelievable. And, well, that's the kind of value that you need to pull out when you've had the last couple of days that the Shy has had. Like, he needed a game like this to get back on top of the horse.
Now it makes you wonder, is he going to try and stick to picks like this to Vladimir, maybe something like a Kennen that can be lane bullies but also be these big team fight threats? Obviously, the thing going into next game, though, is we need to question, is this the lack of faith buff coming in for IG stronger than Blue Side? Because Blue Side's been 100% win rate this series.
That is the question. LGD going to be going back to the Blue Side. So IG fans at home, you got to stop believing right this second. If you want them to win this series, you got to believe in LGD. Cheer with all your hearts because IG needs you right now. But I want to ask you, Lyric, like, was this just the Vladimir? Is that the sole factor here? Because it felt to me like LGD also made a fair few mistakes in this one.
I actually liked IG's draft coming into it, and we saw, you know, Ning doing so much in the early game with that set that did get left open. Rookie was popping off. They actually had priority in all 3 lanes, but they were the ones who initially started throwing their leaves, starting from that mid lane dive where Ning wrapped around. You could see how the idea would work, but Shay had flash. Even if he didn't hit that nice shockwave, which was beautiful, I feel like Mark's ultimate would have blocked people down long enough. We saw Longshin making his way over, and that was what brought LGD back into the game in my mind. And then the Baron was just, I don't want to say a bit hasty, because they took down 3 members of IG. Like, realistically, what can you do? You can't just keep waiting for the Shy to scale up even stronger.
Well, actually, this is LGD we're talking about. Waiting is exactly what LGD does, so it wouldn't have surprised me. I will say, though, I do feel like Ning has been a little bit robbed in this game. Because this Shy had this ridiculous breakout performance here, I feel like Ning has been overshadowed, because his set, as always, looks amazing. We saw his set looking exceptional during the regular season as well. Brings it out on the stage, and straight off the bat, got off to a flying start.
And there's a reason why LGD did ban it in those first 2 games, which... This is why it's just such a head-scratcher that IG didn't pick Blue Side sooner because, I mean, you talked about this on our last list. Hey, you need to change out one of those bans for Caitlyn. And any of those 3 picks, if IG can get their hands on them, would be golden.
So now, the question remains of, now that LGD are moving back to the Blue Side, things have got to change for IG. I seriously doubt that things like this Caitlyn are going to be allowed through, but I do have to wonder, does Vladimir become a priority part of this draft at this stage? Can you afford to just have Langsheng on an Ornn against the Vladimir again, or does that have to be a ban for LGD?
My guess is LGD just won't first phase, so first 3 pick Ornn, and then you could just ban out Vlad 4-5, and it'd be interesting to see if LGD also ban out the Ornn, because if they're banning out, you know, one of the answers, then IG can just pick that one up for free, but I definitely think LGD should still feel extremely confident coming in on Blue Side, because we saw in the first 2 games that IG just don't really have the answers. You can just keep going on to things like Xie Zoriana. You can get a strong bottom lane with something like the Jhin, and then you should have smooth sailing for the side of LGD.
Yeah, and I'm curious if we do see, obviously with the Vladimir in the conversation, we have to talk about the Kayle for the Shy as well, because we've seen a ton of Kayle coming out from the Shy and other top laners in the top side of the map, specifically against Ornn. It's very likely that LGD do opt into this Ornn again, assuming that the draft goes that way. Do you expect this Kayle to be something that comes out? Because we did see the Shy struggle a little bit on the Kayle last time these 2 teams faced.
I think it's a 50-50. Like, I could definitely see him going for it, but I'd much rather see him go towards something like I said earlier, the Cannon, where, sure, are you going to have solo kill pressure on something like Ornn? No way. But you are going to at least have a strong laning phase where you can bully him out very early on, and you're going to transition into a strong team fighter, because that's where the Shy really impacted this game, right? Having those amazing ultimates, those amazing outplays, which you can do with something like a Slicing Maelstrom.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is what we talked about right at the very start of this weekend. When we were talking about the Shy, it was, all right, this guy, get him on a team fighter, get him on something that these massive ultimates can impact.
Even
the
Gnar.
the Kennen.
Yep.
These ones that will be able to carry the game. But I want to move the conversation away from the Shy. We talked a reasonable amount about the Shy at this point. I want to move the conversation over to LGD here, because they're back on the blue side. They have been looking great today. What do they have to do now? What can they button up here to finish this series out in style, get themselves a 3-1 victory, and make it to the World Championship?
I feel like you just go back to the plan you had earlier, right? They were first picking the Graves. They were making sure they had a stronger bot lane duo coming in. And then, I mean, a lot of it came from Xie just being on point in the mid lane, which even that last game, I don't feel like Xie particularly had a bad game, right? He outplayed that dive in the mid lane. He had, like, some pretty good ultimates as well. Like, you don't need to shock change anything from that loss, right? You're still 2-1-up. You only need 1 game to go to Worlds just to fall back to your blue side plan.
Well, we just have to hope now for LGD fans that the mentality remains strong for LGD. We're going to go into game number 4, though, so I'm going to hand it over to our casters once more. Hysterics, Dagda, please take us away with game number 4.
Look, all I'm saying is we've been in a position like this before. IG have never lost in regional finals in the past 2 years and have secured that last seed at Worlds. We're at that position again. We're at game 4. LGD, you better remain strong, because otherwise we're going to a game 5.
And how many hype trains have they derailed in regional finals? JDGs we talked about, top esports we talked about as well. Like, it always feels like they're the players that are just going to step up and ruin that hype train. Now, as you said, LGD,
Hey,
we're looking
who's
down
this?
the barrel.
FPX, brother.
Yeah, FPX, yeah.
LGD are here. But having said that, I mean, LGD in games 1 and game 2 looks fantastic. So this is the hope that we get good League of Legends, whoever it's from. I mean, LGD going back to Worlds is still such a great storyline, even though IG's is, you know, as good for some of the wrong reasons. LGD just need 1 game. They've been on match point now for 2 games' time. This is the second one coming through. So we talked about it. Blue side, win rate, 100% in this series. LGD will be moving back to try and get that stat in their favor and keep it strong. Match point second time around. Let's see what they get as their first pick.
And the beauty here for LGD is that they get the ban the Lucian, they get the ban the Set, they can even go again towards this Ashe ban. They don't have to worry about something like the Caitlyn ban messing up their game plan, as IG will need to be the ones that ban that away.
Oh, the Ashe ban on blue side once again. The Set even respecting Ning from game number 3. IG in really good spirits again when they start smiling and get scary as Kramer's first pick. Oh, it's going to be the Ezreal prioritized now. Do we just go back to the Jhin early?
I mean, Ning can just go for the Graves here, which has been the first pick for LGD every single time. So maybe Peanut has something else in his back pocket. Maybe he's happy to take the Lee Sin for himself in the Graves Lee Sin matchup. But yeah, I imagine you'll be looking towards maybe a support pick up here, or as we talked about, something in the jungle here for Ning.
You mentioned the Graves. I'll keep that in the back of my mind. There's the Jhin, though, an early response for Puff. So we saw that in game number 3. Can it do the same thing? That Graves, we'll mention that when it gets locked in, if I should say.
Maybe they could also go for the Zoe here. Maybe they just don't have super high priority on this this jungle matchup. I would be surprised to not see them prioritize the Graves here. I think Ning looks like absolutely stellar on this pick when he does get his hands on it. Gives great priority to IG, which is something they've been lacking on the red side in game 1 and game 2. But
really good
there
call,
we go, yeah. I think the Zoe here as well, we talked about how they love to play through Rookie. he's had the counter pick nearly 60% of their games, so getting the strong pick for him does make sense.
Yeah, because, you know, you look at Ning, and Ning is quite versatile in his jungle. If the Graves gets picked, well, then Ning can go back to something like the Lee Sin. Let's just see first, because with jungle, what else do you want to see from LGD?
I imagine that we'll probably see something in the support role, or maybe they actually go towards the Orianna here for Xie. I don't like this, because again, you're putting yourself in the opportunity for, again, this Vladimir to just come through, so...
Alright, Dag, the new name for him, Earn, especially if the Shy goes on something like the Vladimir again. Now, LGD can ban that away, but as we've seen in the past, it's been bans targeted towards Ning in the jungle, or even some of those supports from LGD.
So it's a trade-off here for IG. Do you pick the Vladimir, do you pick the Kayle, or do you end up prioritizing something for Ning? Because if you don't pick for Ning here, you start to drip down with the Lee Sin, who's going to be gone away, the Set's gone, Olaf, we really start to go down the lineup, but the Shy, he's the one that's making the call here. He said, look, give it to me again. I will carry you once more to a game 5.
That 100% win rate flying through after game number 3, Dagda. He's now 14-5 on this Vladimir. So, are we going to game 5? A lot of the fans now thinking this could be true, but we'll wait to find out because jungle bans flying across the rift from LGD.
Yeah, and mid lane bans make sense here for IG. We said the Orianna has been working fairly well. The issue that I'm seeing again here for LGD, though, is 3 losing lanes. Ornn is not going to win that lane against Vlad. Ezreal is not going to win lane, and you're already behind against Zoe. So, realistically, Ning can go towards something that can take over in this early stage of the game, and then just look to set up IG for success once again. And looks like that's going to be the call here. A strong level 3 that he can look for ganks towards mid and bot.
A really old combo, something we did see in 2019 in the regional finals. Ning was very high on this Jarvan pick. Now, excuse me, I'll correct myself. It was Le Yen at the time, but before, Ning and the Shy partnered this Jarvan Vladimir. There's a lot of all-in potential, and I'd be curious to see if Balan pairs it with maybe something like the Nautilus if they can get it. But if you're going to lose lane, let's just outscale, says LGD. Let's be patient and win late game.
I actually, I'm not the biggest fan of this because you're like, hey, you need to have something that can at least control that mid lane because you're losing hard. You've just opted into 2 of the worst lanes in the Ezreal and the Kassadin, and you've got this horrific matchup top lane in the Ornn. This is setting up IG to run away with this early to mid game, and you've got nothing on LGD's side you can do again about it.
So let's reiterate, because IG on red side feel like they've got exactly what they wanted in this matchup. To go to a game 5, IG need to snowball this Vladimir, have the same laning phase that he had, and just blow everyone up at mid game. And LGD want to scale, right?
But that's the thing. It's not even like IG have to snowball. Because you've got the late game Vlad, because you've got the late game Jhin, you're still in good shape when you hit that late portion of the game. It's LGD who are cornered themselves into only having a late game. And even then, I feel like this late game comes down to execution more so than it does just about a composition running away with it.
It's up to IG. Unless they mess this up, right? Unless they make a critical error, then IG, the way they play these games, quick and fast. And, you know, fans want to be jamming to this one because Dagda, they needed the reverse sweep. Invictus Gaming, they need the reverse sweep. They were 2-0 down. And after that last game, after what we see in front of us here with Draft, it could be a reality, but all comes down to that execution as always. LGD, 1 game to go to Worlds. IG need 2 more in a row. Can the world champions of 2018 return to that stage, or can LGD, after 5 long years, can they go to Worlds themselves? We're still jamming, Dagda, and you know why? Because we could be heading towards a game 4 that gives us one funky answer. Are you ready? Because the Shy's on Vladimir again, and Rookie got his Zoe. She is Kassadin enough. He got a pentakill this year on it. But it needs to really carry us over the line. LGD, can you end that curse? Or can IG keep their reign going? Because Vladimir doesn't lose. As we head to the Rift to find our true answer on our very last day of 2020.
This game is all about the mid jungle for IG. You've got Ning, who's on this strong early game jungler that can work with the 3 winning lanes. You've got Rookie as well, who's going to be able to push in this wave and group with Ning to work in either side lane. Like, it doesn't matter. You can go for these very early dives.
Yeah.
So this has to be where Ning and Rookie just take over this game. Peanut's job is just to try and just put out fires, mitigate whatever damage is going to be done in this early mid game. And honestly, with the way this draft is gone, he's going to have his work cut out for him massively.
Make sure Xie gets to that, level 16 Kassadin, that real late game scaling assassinating mage. What do you call it? Let's just say assassin. What would you?
Assassin.
Assassin. Nice. I like that.
I just took out the K.
Still very innovative of you, but we know a bit of a timer on there at the very least. Now for LGD, it's going to be Peanut starting in the bottom lane to path top side and maybe put a bit of pressure on the Shire that we didn't see in game number 1.
And again, I'm seeing this grass to be undying. I'm just not a fan of it. I really think that Unsealed Spellbook could do so much more. And I mean, when you're looking towards early objectives, at least in this game though, there's no way LGD can contest. Kramer, we're going to be building towards that Manamune. He'll be fairly weak. Xie going towards that Rod of Ages. He needs a lot of time to scale. So when we look towards early Dragons, it's definitely in favor of IG. When we look towards Rift Herald, same again. So this is, again, LGD going to have to try and play super smart to mitigate damage in this game.
Starting in the laning phase, you're talking about here in the bot lane. Dredge line connects and Puff just sends out a Q. And already the trading very favorable. As Ning is shadowing around here for the time being, just clearing up his Gromp. And also the Warden River, maybe just to set up for the Scuttle Crab. While Peanut's still clearing up towards that top side. And Rookie doing the same in this mid lane. Dagda, you weren't kidding. As top side really the only one favorable right now, just purely because of the early lanes of Ornn. But that'll change soon enough, as we saw in the last game.
And that's why Peanut has opted to move towards this top side. He's like, the only place I have a hope of getting a Scuttle Crab is on this top side. So let's try and play through at least the early push coming through from Longxing. However, Ning is doing a nice job here of trying to work with Rookie's push in the mid to contest this early Scuttle with the Zoe.
Transfusion comes through from the Shy, but not in time to get good damage onto Longxing. Just note that the Cull's up there here for the top laner once again. An easy time in lane means he can just stack that nicely. As Ning through mid, you mentioned Peanuts here as well.
And this is the big problem with having 3 losing lanes is Ning can go get the Scuttle top side. You can have Beolan's moving. I thought they just were going to move towards bottom Scuttle, but they want the dive already.
They want to dive, so Xie, that flash got to be pretty good as the Flag and Drag is flashed on as well. Xie down with the Ignite, tanking up the turret is Beolan. He's going to die, so he wants to take the jungler with him as Peanut dodges away. It's a 1-for-1. But first blood goes over to Ning.
You'll take that as LGD. I know it sucks that Xie goes down, but it's damage mitigation as Mark has actually made his way up.
The Zenith Blade, they don't expect Mark in. Ning's walking into a trap. You get the Shield of Daybreak with the Ignite. He goes away, and the Zenith Blade was a bit short. Peanut with the Blast Cone ready. Rookie's out, and yeah, you're right, because Peanut now in a very good opportunity, but Baolan's here. Oh no. Ning with the Flag and Drag gets on in. Auto attacks a couple of times as Peanut flashes away himself, but Mark is still available as Puff is walking in. The Deadly Flourish was right on the target, but Xie was in front, and LGD now have to back away.
Peanut's going to see if he can try and fight over the Scuttle. Kramer has made his way here, and actually with the poke that Kramer has right now, he can probably dissuade IG from this play as long as that hook from Baolan doesn't land.
Scuttle is secured at the very least, and Baolan's hooks have been pretty good so far. An early bit of blood to start us off, and forcing out Xie from the mid lane, though, does feel pretty good. As Ning just gets the Scuttle, walks away, bit of poke in the end from Baolan.
So at least when we look at Peanut, he's actually managed to somewhat wrestle against Ning, but that bottom Scuttle doesn't go across, and Ning is starting to fast clear through his jungle. However, this was the play that LGD did manage to turn back around, which is fantastic for them, especially when you look towards the summoner spells that were burned from both Baolan and Ning. Peanut managing to get this kill onto Baolan is actually a really big win for LGD.
Yeah, Peanut able to go back at the longsword skirmishing smite from it as well. Ning pretty much in the same boat, but of course it's going to be the Cinder Hulk here for the jungler of IG. Well, Xie now deserving of some attention from Peanut. Farming close by, always a nice thing when you're a Kassadin in the mid lane. Having a bit of your jungle support, and Rookie is level 5, so is Xie. And with a that's his second redemption. What is this champion?
It's the script. It's the script we're talking about.
Double redemption? Not even level 6. It's 5 minutes into the game. Well, meanwhile, Peanut
This
at
is
least
a
he gets to get
risky
this.
call from Peanut. So he will actually be rewarded, reading that Ning won't be able to get in towards that river. Well, Ning probably could have, but at least with Xie being pushed in, and also that top lane Longxing backing, Peanut just stealing away that scuttle is a...
Yes, Dagger
Okay,
is
I
a,
was
is a
hanging
what?
on. It is a good call from Peanut. Bit greedy, but it worked, and now Peanut's in position to
He
go
is.
for a gank. But
Xie, does he get 6 by the end of this wave? That's going to be crucial because he can jump on this Zoe. Next one coming in as Peanut taxes it away. He just wants to help shove. Ning nearby with Baolan again linking up. This is really nice to see. Xie is very low as well, but he does have the Rift Limp and gets to the back of the wave. Is now spotted on a ward. Baolan will help clear that one, and Peanut cannot contest.
good defensive vision from Peanut, though. Like, this is the route that we're going to see Baolan take a lot of the time. He'd love to get another ward at the back of that red pit to secure vision in his jungle, but unfortunately, that's way too much of a luxury with the way these lanes are going. So, at the moment, Peanut's going to be taking this a little bit easy, as Ning, second guess, is starting up this dragon.
Yeah, control would put in the back of the pit. And remember, delaying this out for LGD, putting out the fires, as Dagda mentioned, is always ideal. And Shy's going to go sky high. Ornn is an assassin, so it makes sense that the Shy at half health as he pops his pot.
So what we're looking at here for LGD is certainly getting towards the 2-item spikes on both Peanut and Kramer. That's where at least the balance starts to tip a little bit back towards LGD. Now, they're not out of the woodwork yet because Ning, Rookie can still do a lot of work at that point, but at least it's not like, okay, we are right up a creek without a paddle. So when we look at the dragon, actually, it looks like Peanut trying to make a play bot to see if maybe they can secure it, but at least helping Kramer, shoving in this wave and keeping him safe.
Because you know they're going to go in as Zenith Blade connects onto Baolan. This could be great for LGD. Baolan's just dead. Puff going to get hit pretty hard as well with collateral damage. And LGD coming out ahead in this early game.
And that's amazing. The fact that you were able to get a gank off as Peanut worked wonders there. Nice job from Mark to set up with that Zenith Blade. And now Peanut is actually the one that can go towards this dragon. Ning has been pretty quiet on this Jarvan. And when we talked about him having pressure in 3 lanes, the ability to move with Rookie from this mid lane, I expected we'd see this a lot earlier from IG.
You just got Kramer given the shove and a kill, plus he already has the CS lead. It's going to be an early tier Sheen as well if we're close. Just look for Kramer's back down the bottom of your screen. It's a Manamune bought flat out. So now already LGD have their tools working for them.
And it's just all about little wins for LGD. That's what they're trying to gain here. The dragon for themselves, a bit of a gold lead, a kill or a gank going their way. Just getting a bit of gold back in their favor and trying to get towards that mid-game point. But for IG, they should have been able to get off the bat here. As we said, Ning has the advantage on when it comes to working with these lanes. The flag and drag, like from level 2, Ning is good.
Yeah.
The problem was going for that mid lane play, ended up setting Baolan behind a little bit, but they still should have been able to ramp it up massively more so than this. However, with this wave pushing out bot side now, Mark and Kramer just spot out Baolan, which should send triggers everywhere that something is about to go down.
I mean, not for Mark though. He's going to walk into this. Now spots out Ning. Flag and drag available with the Cataclysm. Ning, now that he's 6 though, let's see if that proactivity rises a little bit while buff transfer happening in the top side of the map.
But Peanut can go towards Rift Herald now, answer for the play on the bottom side. So again, this is LGD getting objectives, and even when they don't have like a pushing mid lane, to get this Rift Herald is pretty damn good.
It's incredible because a lot of the time we talk about draft difference with IG. This time around, it's draft difference in a very positive light, but the early game not acting out as it should. However, we got a lot more time to speak about this because, you know, this early game, we're talking transitioning into the mid for IG. How it goes 20, 25 minutes in, but they do need to get the ball rolling and get off of these winning lines.
And this is the thing now. It's not about IG are just going to fall off a cliff at some point. This is just the fact that IG have such a stronger early game when compared to LGD. They should be able to make these plays, but LGD are actually doing a great job of shoring up their defenses, not giving anything over towards IG, and in fact, going ahead in this early game when we look at just pure objectives.
Ning maybe setting off another alarm. Baolan's roam back up. Kramer and Mark are walking back into this wave. Now, Peanut, meanwhile, is stealing away camps. He's going to have a CS lead soon, and he might even find the Shy. A perfect early game for LGD when now the Shy the target. Call the Forge God. Doesn't force out the Sanguine pull. Yes, it does, but Peanut's coming in. Smoke screen's there. The Hemoplate, he flashes away, and Peanut takes a couple turret shots. Well, now bottom lane, the trade for IG could be better. The curtain call to line up. Kramer with the knock-up. The last bullet layers in as Ning picks up the kill, and Baolan juggles the aggro. Double TP from LGD, but Rookie's here as well. He matched, he gets the trouble bubble, and LGD are going to lose out on this one.
And those late TPs mean that they can't actually turn it around. Now, you've got IG considering another return play at this. The Shy does have teleport, and LGD, no call to the Forge God, need to respect this.
It's kind of what we were talking about. It's like, on a whim, IG can just turn a play. The TP's burnt, and almost stops it back there from Puff. But a lead built up. Now, Ning has the kills, but the gold advantage still for IG in the form of 1K.
The thing is, though, it's taken 11 minutes to start this. So we are seeing the Manamune completed there for Kramer, as we already talked about. He's going to be working, I imagine, towards that Iceborne Gauntlet. Actually, I take that back. Probably the Triforce to get that Ornn upgrade, yeah. But the thing here is that we're getting that Rod of Ages nearly completed for Xie. Like, the timing windows that IG had to exploit are starting to close. And now they're going to have to try and deal with LGD, who are going to be on a more even footing. Although I like this from Peanut, getting this mid lane control for Xie, getting some of those resources funneled into Xie to finish that Rod of Ages ASAP.
And that control ward there, I believe it was spotted out by IG. Might send Baolan there afterwards to pick it out, but for now, IG just stopping the Rift Herald play. Xie waiting over the wall with the Rift Walk. Meanwhile, Lung Xing busy with turret plating as we saw in the previous play, LGD went up to topside, enabled him to push this out. And across the board, LGD now even in gold. And this Castlin you talked about before, he's very close to his Rod of Ages. So more highlights for LGD. When you feel Worlds, when you feel it so close.
And he's about to finish it. He's actually back in now. He'll be able to pick up the Rod of Ages. May actually be able to pick up the Boots of Speed as well, potentially. No, not quite. So instead, though, we'll just be able to rip walk his way back to lane. So he's going to be totally fine here. So now Xie is starting to hit that point where he becomes pretty scary.
But let me just say, the Shy also hits his first item, and he has a blasting wand on top of it. That's an extra 850 gold. So Vladimir, still a big boy.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I wanted to correct something. Xie is not scary now. He's just getting to a point where he's actually okay to start, keep himself safe and starting to ramp up. We're still going to be waiting about another 10 minutes before he's really relevant.
I mean, he's
However, the Shy...
that was not good from Lungxing. Misses the wall. So good trading comes out in the end from the Shy.
Still, though, the Shy, he's starting to get towards a little bit of an earlier spike where he has the Hextech Proto Belt, can go towards the Spellbinder or even that Void Staff that we saw again in the last game.
Looks like it.
And then have a little bit of an easier time against Longxing. Peanut, though, not spotted thanks to that control ward.
But he will be fine. At least here we go for Ning in the bottom lane. Cataclysm laid down. Kramer's going to take the depth charge while the curtain call comes in. Ning survives. The last bullet hits Kramer. Now we have two very low bottom laners. The flash almost hits him, but Mark in the end goes down with a Riptide. It's another kill, this time to the support, but turret plating going over to Puff.
And this is where IG are starting to swing punches. Getting in towards this bottom side, setting up Puff. He's already got that Storm Razors completed. He's going to be super far accelerated thanks to this gold he's getting off the turret plates as well. So a nice job at least on IG to shut down Kramer, who, as we talked about oftentimes, is the late game carry for LGD, although not so much this game with Xie on the castle.
At least trying to get this first turret blood, push down most of the plates. Minion Wave is thinning out here, but there goes plating entirely. And IG with first turret blood in this game. That gold lead has netted out to 2K now at 14 minutes.
I missed where the Rift Herald went, though. Peanut did have it picked up. I don't know if he
used it mid.
Did he use it?
Oh, yeah,
sorry. Did use it mid, sorry. I was thinking he might actually be moving top lane to try and use it to make some plays top, but no. Yeah, did go over towards Xie in the mid. And Peanut actually, off the back of that play, realizes IG need to reset, and he goes towards this Dragon.
And the Dragon's going to feel nice, like a, what do you call whiskey in Irish? What were you telling me before?
It's got Ishka Baha, which is the water of life.
The water of life. Is this an ocean dragon? It's the water of life, Dagda. Gonna have a bit of water of life after the season's done, I'll tell you that much. But I think this is a good start for LGD. Ocean Soul coming up now. Don't give Ocean Soul to a Vladimir. That's rule one.
That's definitely.
And if LGD can work towards Ocean Soul, I mean, the delayed game would be insane from them.
Yeah, and I mean, look, counter to that is if IG get several of these Ocean Dragons, they're going to be pretty damn scary. And it does surprise me that IG haven't been prioritizing these early objectives a little bit more, kind of working to get Rookie out of lane a bit more. Like, the fact that Rookie is just trying to bully Xie is not how you win against the Kassadin. What you want to do is use Kassadin's early game to set up the rest of the map. So the whole team is so far ahead, the Kassadin's just useless, and you're ramping up so aggressively through these tower takes and objectives that you close the game out before the Kassadin becomes relevant.
At the very least, he's now moving to the bottom lane. Level 11 for Xie. Chat, you know what to do. While Rookie's sitting mid for the meantime. We went really close camera for a second.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. Just a bit of a highlight on Xie. Now, it's not like the Kale, but at the very least we know 16 is the death mark. Herald's going to be taken, so this is the first objective for IG in this fourth game. Herald means we can break open mid if we're IG, but the LGD, let's see what happens. Oh, hits him, but no one's coming down.
Xie is going to be fine, hiding behind the creeps there. You do even have Mark, who's hovering down, just to give some support to Xie. All they want at the moment is to give Xie a side lane, start to get this gold in his favor, but just needs to be careful. Doesn't have the boots, so will get knocked about by Rookie in this side lane.
Ning's walking in this river as well, so you can see Xie just backs away, pays the respect. And now it's very tense. We're at a tense point where, you know, IG to continue accelerating need to get this pick right, Dagda. We need to see them catch out some members in rotation, maybe find Peanut Mark, as they're always constantly looking for that battle, or at least trying to find some farm in the enemy jungle for Peanut's sake. He has been invading well. He does have a CS lead over Ning. Not surprising when you talk about Peanut's performance and how this game's been going. As Assassin Orn at it again. Dagda, this is where you say, well, you did Assassin.
Assassin?
What do you want? Assassin Orn? Doesn't have the same.
Assassin?
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
A sassoon? Isn't that a instrument?
A bassoon?
I don't know. It's been a long
or
time.
basson? I'm not entirely certain. I'm not up to date on my my musical instruments, I'm afraid.
That's okay. This is almost as nice as the time, you know, you talked about Peanuts Lee Sin and
Well,
you kind of put that one
forget
together.
about
Yeah?
that one, yeah.
You sure? All right, that's all right. With a P at the front, anything's possible. As Riftail's going to be dropped in the mid lane now. We saw plating drop down before, but this is still good gold for IG. The Riftail swipes at absolutely nothing, but still gets the turret. So 17 minutes in IG with a 2k gold lead, and really good trouble of landed as Deadly Flourish to follow up. Here comes the Curtain Call. They want to get the engage on the Peanut.
Oh.
He doesn't get the collateral damage over the wall, but still has the quick draw. And the last bullet connects with Rookie over the wall. Trouble Bubble close as he flashes away with the Ignite on him. Peanut lives, but IG now converging top.
Run, Longxing! You cannot be up here. Shy's diving the tower. Here comes IG Cavalry.
He's getting really low as well. The heal burnt out. The Shy waiting for transfusion. Call the Forge God. Will it come in? The flag and drag sets up Rookie for the Trouble Bubble kill. And IG now move up to get another turret.
And Longxing needed to back away long before IG got up there. You're already trading this for Xie presence in the bot side. Let's just get that Ornn out of the lane. But when Peanut got engaged on, Longxing just needed to TP the hell out of there.
At least Xie has the right idea in the bottom lane, trading turret for turret. And trades at this point, even this early on for LGD, is still great. So Xie is going to get this bit of solo turret gold. That means 300. Means that Archangel's staff is close to being completed.
So I want to see LGD forego this next dragon.
Right.
They just got 2 towers, one in the top lane super low. Let's get that tower down for LGD, get a bit of cash injection specifically towards Xie, and then when we've got, 2 dragons maybe on towards IG, that's when we can actually look to go, right, Xie's powered up, Longxing's passing out all these Ornn items, we're good to fight. But I think at the moment, with the way IG's builds have gone, you can see the Luden's Echo, the Oblivion Orb for Rookie, he's churning out a bunch of damage. The Shy is actually going to be quite potent in these fights as well, alongside Ning, so don't try and go overly aggressive right now while Xie is still powering up.
Yeah, but you can't give this over if you're IG. They know that. Third redemption that I've seen Rookie get this game. Very, very angry. Getting it at level like 2 or 3 Dagger is silly. As Longxing, you want to see that cash injection. There it is. But Dragon is now going to be coming up, so Longxing might have to teleport in as a redemption with the Sleeping Trouble Bubble. Mark flashes away. A good corner to hide in, while Kramer now Arcane shifts away from the Curtain Call until the last one hits him right in the face. LGD backing away, and a nice little predict is what you'll call that, while IG now have full security around the objective.
Maybe Peanut trying to be the King of Thieves here. Trying to slide in over this wall, get the
This would be
steal.
so good. They want to pull the Dragon out.
Okay.
Lungshing in with a flank call. The Forge God is lining on down. This is the Shy who needs to TP in. That hits almost 3 as Ning's in there. And Peanut, the King of Thieves, continues on while they turn for Lungshing. He gets a 3-man knock-up. LGD can turn for the fight. Kramer on top of the Shy. The Vladimir is dead. Baolan wants to keep his AD carry alive as the poke reigns supreme. Rookie over the wall, but Baolan golden in the nick of time. With Puff, not enough damage on this Ornn. LGD can feel it. The return to Worlds. This is what it takes.
And it's now at 20 minutes. They've just found these massive fights where Shie gets a bit more gold, where you're looking at Kramer who gets a bit more gold. But King of Thieves Peanut, every single damn time he will steal away objectives. He steals the Elder in their game against FPX in the regular season. He steals the Soul against VG Gaming in their game in the regular split. He's stolen countless objectives in our playoffs. And now, in the game that could put LGD to that world stage once again, it's Peanut who makes the play.
It was a horrible game, Dagda, but a great title for Peanut, I'll say that. And this call, the Forge God, no one's in, and Lungshing is near unkillable in the back.
Perfect positioning for Longxing here as well. You've got to get past the tank to get to safety, and that's where LGD are able to collapse so well. Rookie off on the side trying to provide the damage, but the Shy goes down. Puff isn't able to set up properly here because he's running for the hills. 1-2 shots max before he's got to go back towards base.
LGD, no one died in the end as well. These people that are meant to outscale, out-damage towards a later game. It's 21 minutes in, and now on sole point for LGD. Gotten away with murder with the draft, and Invictus Gaming, their hopes falling to the wayside. Ning needs to start getting real proactive here on this job and finding windows and picks. Or at least maybe the Baron. What do you do, Dagda?
Well, you got to be scared because Shie, 14 out of 16, if chat is keeping count. He's already got his Rod of Ages nearly at 10 stacks. The Seraph's Embrace is soon to come along as well. Or sorry, Seraph's Embrace, their Archangel Staff soon to come along as well. And this is where we got to see if LGD can just keep these side lanes in control. Force Rookie to try and deal with Shie, and Longxing can stay grouped with the team here and look for these picks as IG tried to deal with Shie in a side lane.
You know KFC's against you. When your back's against the wall, 65% the Colonel says. And that's KFC diff. You know, that's KFC buff, KFC diff, whichever way you want to put it. All about the stats here. She ain't really riding them up now, full stacks. And I'm looking across the board, Dagda. I'm seeing these upgrades that are going to come through.
And I'm looking at the Shy as well, because we do have these uber scaling AP carries on both sides. The Shy, Hextech, Proto Belt, Void Staff. Now it looks like still working towards that Spellbinder as well. So overall, or maybe even the Banshee's Veil, just because overall he's going to be a massive carry for these guys too.
Yeah.
So the Shy is definitely approaching late game Vladimir once again. We saw in the last game what he's capable of doing if he gets onto someone like Kramer. So Kramer needs to keep his eyes out, Peanut as well, and they need to hope that Shie can just outclass the Shy when it comes to those carry performances.
They need to get out of this lane state, right? You can just see Shie clears wave, backs away. You can't gank him. Kramer sits mid, clearing the rest while we're set with Lungshing in the bottom lane. All IG want is LGD to group in that corridor. Maybe get a pick with the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. The Shy gets a big Hema Plague with Tides of Blood. But even now, it looks difficult. And Dragons coming up. Their soul is 1 minute and 20 away. IG have none at all. No dragons from this early game. The Baron's sitting there, but they can't give away the soul. That would mean imminent doom.
And this is why Shie is so free to play through this top side of the map. He can just keep pushing in towards this tower, and all that LGD have to do is threaten with Peanut. That means that then IG can't really risk a 50-50 that is actually more 60-40 because of the 2-level advantage on Peanut.
True. Well, Dagda, things getting emotional real fast. It's been a heavy casting year. It's been our first year getting 4 seeds at the World Championship. This could be the last game of the LPL. That's depressing. Been a great series, but it's still very depressing. Oh, 1 level to go for Shie. All right, Trouble Bubble for the pick. Lungshing tanky as ever. Grandfather Ornn as Kramer takes a big paddle star to the face. Good attempt here while the Shy is catching top wave with teleport available. 20 seconds till that dragon spawns. Peanut dodging away from the paddle stars. Great. Rookie just wants to get some damage down. and force LGD to back away from their soul.
She is backing though, low on mana, realizes he's going to need to
Forge
come.
God teleport's going to be late. Rookie flashes in a straight line. The Solar Flare lands on this mid lane and collateral damage, and Xie's in. They're in a big bulk box. Xie is jumping everywhere. The Kassadin so well fed, and the Shy has nowhere to go. Transfusion for the health regen, but Peanuts in. Ning away with the flag and drag. Kramer close to target, and IG may have just given away soul. The Shy dead too, and LGD don't need it because they'll take both.
The soul will be gone, the Baron will be gone, and that was perfect from LGD. The collapse onto Rookie, they pick him off, and then the Shy is soon to follow. Peanut, though, is making his way across. This is still a 2v1, but Ning is so low. If he can burst him out.
It's a Jin, and he's got to reload. The damage is huge. The smite needs to come through. It's not stolen. Peanut tried the flag and drag to escape, and Ning is out while Baron's being taken by 2. LGD will still get the big purple worm. Peanut might even find Ning. Into the line over. The flag and drag's going to be predicted. Smokescreen's going to slow him down. Ning trying here with the one ocean he has, but Red Smite auto attack. IG's jungler left
this is
to
great.
die.
Peanut is just trying to hold off for as long as possible because now you get these resets coming through from LGD. They can get back onto the map, and now this Baron becomes so much more potent because Ning is dead for 30 seconds.
And LGD have a 5k gold lead just about. Wait, my math is not good. I'm not sure if that was right, but Dagda, let's look at this again.
This was beautiful. Rookie flash in the straight line is not the play there, and then the 1, 2, 3 over the wall. Xie comes in just for good measure, and look at this. Xie is zoning off Puff. You've got Long Xing, who's keeping the Shy busy this entire time, which means he can't get access on towards the squishies on LGD, and now Baron pushing forward. LGD are looking to try and push themselves towards that world stage.
Oh man, 5 long years and LGD looking like this is such a good sign. Xie in the side lane, Baron helping so much, and LGD want to break the base stagger onto Rookie. Big castle win right now. The Shy not holding his own port of call. He doesn't even have 3 items. Xie so much bigger. He can jump on top. Look at this. Xie feels that as the knockup comes through. This could be the last fight of the series as Ning's out with the flag and drag. The Call the Forge God almost layers him up. And with the help of the Ram Jam, Peanut gets his collateral damage. The Shy taken down. And LGD have found their window. Invictus Gaming, their regional qualifier buff is done.
And this is where they are able to close it out. The Nexus is going to go.
After 5 long years, LGD as the 4th seed of the LPL will return to the world stage, taking down the 2018 world champions.
LGD with a 3-1 against Invictus Gaming. The former world champions of both 2018 and 2019 will no longer take to the world stage. A new LGD will have their fans rejoice as their faith is rewarded, and LGD will go to Worlds.
Peanut's face tells it all. Returning to the world stage for 4 of these players. Mark on the far right of your screen who had a great series. The support who's never been amongst these veterans. And across different regions, across different leagues, these players come together and put on such a performance. We don't get our reverse sweep, we don't get our game 5, but we get an LGD who are fired up to run through play-ins.
And it started with Xie in that mid lane. It will end with Xie in that mid lane. Xie has had a phenomenal playoffs, regional finals, summer split. He has risen to what fans had hoped for so damn long. Getting his hands on this Kassadin, shutting down the Shy, shutting down Rookie, getting to that late game point, and working so well with LGD.
Well, script has been torn up, and the gold really went up. We didn't even get to 30 minutes, and LGD scaled. The draft didn't look too good, but it shows that IG really put on their makeup today.
But for Xie, this just feels like such a phenomenal moment because for him, 2015 to 2019, he played with WE. He left WE last year to go and move over towards DMO, find new fields where he felt like he could hit this high note. Now, coming together with these veterans and Longxing, Peanut, Kramer, with this aggressive support and Mark, Xie has found himself this opportunity to go to Worlds once again, alongside some of the greatest players that we've seen in League of Legends.
It's not just Xie. The biggest story here for me is Kramer, considering that Kramer in 2019 joined LGD with a middling roster. At that time, you know, we had a mixed roster. Yuki was still on it. I believe we were at the point of Condi, I'm not sure. But there were a lot of mixed players on this team, and Kramer was the standout. Coming to 2020, we get Peanut on here. As you mentioned, you know, Xie was on DMO at the start of the year. So we still had Yuki there, and they were, once again, 15th place team. The change up in players, netting World's top 4 LGD, an organization that have waited 5 years to return to their glory. Even in play-in stage, I mean, looking at LGD, you have to verse Peanut. Good luck to the wildcard regions.
I mean, you have to face against Longxing, Peanut, Xie, Kramer. Like, there is so much talent on this roster. And when they have finally looked like they're getting it to click, where they're just working in conjunction, coordination and team fights is there. The raw talent on this roster is there as well. LGD looks so damn scary going into that world stage.
You have to think that for LGD, you know, the tension was so high within that series. That game 4 where they just had an ultra safe comp that needed to survive, and not even survive, you know, they won objectives, they won lanes essentially, well, survived long enough in lanes, and Invictus Gaming will not be back. We do not have a world champion at this year's World Championship. We only have LGD who have been before, but that was 5 years ago, and 3 new organizations. What does that tell you about the LPL?
It's a new era. It's what we talked about. It's a new era here at the LPL. Top esports leading that charge as our new champions. JDG setting that note